Well, hello again. Today we're on farm number 2, that's Little Oxford. This is about 10 kilometres away from Chablis, where we were last month. And this is the farm that really we consider to be the money maker. Chablis, we've got the house, fruit orchards, a few other small pet projects up there. But this farm's a bit more serious. It's more about just growing palm. We've got some pineapple here in the short term, but in about another sort of 2 years, this is just going to be 100% palm growing. The property is about 55 acres of productive land. It's about 57 acres all up, but we've got ponds, workers' accommodation, roads, etc. So what I'm going to do is climb up to the top of these 2 water towers, then have a little look around and hopefully give you a bit of a panoramic view of the area. So if we look up to the north, we can see the bigger palms. These ones are about, say, 2 years old, and in between these we've got rows of pineapple. Pineapple's been in for about a year. It's all gassed up, and we'll hopefully be taking some pineapple off that in about another 2.5 months. If I look around, you can just see a little bit about the scale of the farm. We've got about 1,000 of the existing trees. Now, as I look down to the south, we've got this new palm field. We planted this ourselves about 6 months ago. We've got small palms laid out there, and then the big trees that you see down here are banana trees. And as I come back around, we've got more existing trees behind us over in the east. Then we've got some ponds and some storage and accommodation areas. Okay, so now we're back down at ground level. If we look around, you can see the palms behind me. Palms are spaced out nicely in rows. Each tree has about a 9-metre spacing from the tree next to it. They're laid out sort of like a beehive configuration. That's the most efficient. And the idea is that when the trees mature, both the leaves and the roots join up to sort of form almost like a canopy. Here we have pineapple growing up in the middle of the rows. The pineapple's just put in for the first 2 to 3 years. And the idea is that we can take a payday off this about every 8 months. Here we have a young palm. This one, the shoot was probably about a year old before we planted it. It's been in the ground now about 6 months. This one's taken pretty well. It's got pretty good leaf development. It's a very nice dark colour. When we plant them, they go in, they have a little support stake. It stops the tree going over. It gets put in a hole about 30-40 centimetres deep, a little bit of fertiliser. And the important bit, the centre of the palm here, this is where it grows, this is where it opens from. So as you look at it, all the new shoots are the top shoots. The older shoots at the bottom, they'll eventually die. The nut will come from around the base, and these shoots will eventually drop off, and then they just get assimilated back as fertiliser into the ground. This palm here is a little bit more mature. Again, it's probably about a year and a half, 2 years old now. Thing's about 9 feet tall, a little bit taller than I am. And as we head in towards the bottom of it, you can start to see these little fluffy fronds coming up. And this is like an immature nut. So it means that it's starting to get there, but this one probably needs more water, more fertiliser at the minute to give it a kick up to the next level. Right, now we're on to the next stage of the palm maturity. Here you can see this tree's got plenty of nuts on it. The nuts are nice and shiny, hard. Each one of these little nodules is like a big black olive, probably about the size of my thumb. This tree's probably got, I don't know, close to 20 on it. And we're particularly looking for when they start to go this little reddy colour, because it means they're going to start producing oil. And this nut here is probably pretty much ready to go. See, it's got a nice red colour to it. Here are a few of the little nuts that have come off. And if you look inside this one that I've opened up, you can see there's a little bit of oily substance in there. So it's not unlike an olive at all. There's a little pit in the middle. And you take the oil both out of the flesh and out of the nut. Now, palm oils are, it's a funny thing. It can get a bit of a bad rap because it is a pretty widely used cooking oil, particularly in Southeast Asia. But a lot of it is over processed, but in its raw form like this, it's very good for you. It's actually very healthy, not dissimilar to olive oil or coconut oil. So if you take a first pressing like a virgin palm oil, it's actually quite a healthy thing. And this is what people would have eaten here, for the last 100 years. But obviously, like the rest of the world in the last sort of 10-20 years, things like oils have been mucked around with, and now they become, or a lot of them become fairly disastrous with the trans fats and the polyunsaturates. But proper red palm oil is actually pretty healthy. It's a good, good fully saturated oil, and it's fairly abundant, so it's a shame really it's been mucked around with. Palms don't have too many natural predators, but here we can see one that has had a bit of an attack. This is probably a rat that's got right in here and chewed through the centre of the palm. So this is probably one that's going to have to be replaced in the next year or so. But you know, that happens to a percentage of them. I can see a couple around here. And we just need to keep the grass down, maybe a little bit of poison down to make sure that it doesn't happen again. One of my helpers today, Anna, come here. Come here. Little Anna, we found her on a railway station, abandoned. She's been with us for 3 or 4 months. She's pretty much asleep or she's naughty. There's not a lot in between, but she's also pretty good company. So that's just a quick look at the life of a palm oil tree. You know, the oil, once it's pressed out of the nut, can be used for numerous things. Biodiesel is one of the big ones here, particularly in Malaysia. It can go to the food industry, as I say, it's a cooking oil, or also it's heavily used in the cosmetic industry. But you know, the biodiesel one is one that's probably got the biggest future and is kind of driving the price at the minute. It's got people very excited. But you know, foodstuff's always in short supply as well, so if that doesn't work out, hopefully people will carry on eating it. These pineapples, they've been in the ground about a year. They're getting fairly close to fruiting. The shoots go in, they're probably about a third of this size. They're probably down to something about this height. They've been watered, they've been fertilised, and then when we want to induce the fruit, we do it with a little gas pellet, and the gas pellet ensures that all the pineapples that are ready to grow, they'll grow at the same time, so we get sort of a synchronised crop. So one of the interesting things about pineapple is that after the first harvest, often down around the base here, the shoot will start to divide. So we'll start to get a second shoot out in this area. And that means that when we take a second harvest in another 8 months' time, in theory we could get almost double the crop, double the quantity of pineapple, and double the profit, which would be nice. This is a pretty big banana tree, getting probably 10-11 feet tall. And these are laid out in between the rows of the palms. If I just move a little bit to my left, you can see a row of the small palms kind of moving up in the distance. And what the banana trees do is they hold moisture in the soil. They obviously then give us a crop of bananas, and then once the banana's been harvested, we just cut down, we cut through the stalk here. And this is just soft, it's a little bit like a kind of aloe vera maybe in texture, maybe like celery, something like that. And it holds a lot of water, and that'll drop a lot of water back into the soil. Well, last month we found some fresh honey on the property, and this month we got some fresh bananas. These are sort of Thai style bananas. They're a little bit smaller than a Western banana, maybe a cross between a banana and a plantain. But here we go. And they're certainly very good. They're nice and sweet. They're a little bit more textureful maybe than a normal Western banana. But they're the kind of typical banana you get here, then you'd use them in cooking maybe for plantain chips or something like that. But they're very good, very nice. Well, that's pretty much it for today. We've had a bit of a look around here, farm number 2, Little Oxford. I think it's important to point out that anyone who sort of reads about palm oil, it does get a bit of negative press from time to time. And I think that's what some of the big corporations do in China and Malaysia in terms of deforestation. To go ahead and plant it is probably not fantastic. But, you know, all the land that we've been on here today was agricultural land before we bought it, for, you know, a long time before we bought it. In fact, the whole area up here is agricultural land or developed into resorts. So, you know, this kind of palm oil farming is fairly ethical, I think. There's certainly no destruction of species or wildlife involved. And as I say, you know, if it helps the biodiesel industry, and obviously, you know, people have got to eat, I don't think it's too much of a bad thing at all. But anyway, we'll keep on making a few more of these videos. We'll see where we are next month. If we get a chance to go south, we'll do one on the rubber farm, but if not, we'll do something else up here, and we'll sort of keep you posted on our progress. So enjoy the rest of the month, and hopefully we'll see you in a few weeks. Bye.